Hello everybody, this is Howard, Teaserking, coming to you with let's do week 7 of college first. I will not have another losing week the rest of the year, I promise that. Basically, I've been hitting, but I've been getting unlucky. Teams that I've been putting in multiple teasers have been, I'll lose the one team and I'll pick a lot of winners. But last week was just it was confusing. I picked a lot of winners and then I lost because I had teams in 2 or 3 teasers and the one team loses and it was killing my teasers. So I'm going to be a little more careful this week and from now on. But basically I'm pretty much locked in now and looking forward. I got a huge pro week. I got a double lock, which means I have a 3-team lock. I got 8 strong plays, 4 in college, 4 in pro, and the double lock. You have to go to the site and to get that one, but it's a real strong one, and you know I think it'll win. And I've got them in multiple teasers, as that's the way you play teasers. Let's go to Michigan State, Purdue. Michigan State was my lock last week. Laying 1, easily up 27-0. Should have been 47-0. And then Nebraska got some breaks late, ran a punt back, made it interesting. But at the end of the day, we got the W, laying 1. And the reason I locked it is Michigan State will not lose to a team like Nebraska. They're the best team in the Big Ten by a mile, and they should be in the playoffs. So basically, when you get a team like that -1 at home, it's an automatic. I'm locking it because it's different when they lay a lot of points. Then you got to worry about them covering. But in this situation, laying 1 at home was, or maybe 2, was just that's there. This is a very interesting game. I've had a dream about this game about a month ago, and I told one of my buddies. I said, and he's a Michigan State guy. I says, that's it. I had the dream. I get dreams once in a while, and they're usually good. They usually come through. And Michigan State wins this game about 42-3, playing Purdue. So take 21 down to 15. I've been noticing the money goes against State lately, and it went against them against Oregon. It went against them against Nebraska. It went against them, I think, the week before. It did. It went from like 31 down to 28 or 27. And I almost locked them against Eastern Michigan or whoever else they play, one of those other weak teams. So it's I can't remember. It was Wyoming. The spread went down. So they always think the spread's too high at Michigan State. They haven't caught on. When I'm in Vegas, I'll talk about Michigan State, and they don't understand them out there. I go, they got like one of the top 3 defenses in the country, and they're like, really? I didn't know that. I go, they got a great quarterback, and they explosive. They're into the Pac-10 or Pac-12, or they'll know the Southeast Conference, but they don't know Michigan State, so they're underspread a lot. Unlike a Michigan or Notre Dame or an Ohio State around in the Big Ten or in this area. I'm in Michigan, so I watch this team very closely. Shut down defense. I love this game. Purdue basically does not scare me offensively. They're pretty weak. Even Notre Dame held them to like 10 or 13. Their defense doesn't scare me. Michigan State, we're cutting it down to 15. Michigan State's very good on the road. Purdue doesn't really pose a threat. The only team that could give Michigan State problems is a team with a very good defense. And like Oregon, I don't think Oregon really gave them problems. I think the Heat did, and that was confusing because they had Oregon beat. And if they played Oregon another 5 times, well, now Oregon's terrible, but they keep playing them. Michigan State would win almost all the time. So anyway, definitely Michigan State, really strong, several teasers, beating the hell out of Purdue. I mean, playing 15. I don't see how they won't win by about 35 points. Again, they had Nebraska 27-3, and really Nebraska had a few lucky. There's a pick six that goes through the guy's hands, a punt return. I mean, State easily could have won that game 40-3, and nobody would have blinked. Sometimes they get a little bad with their play calling. They'll have a lead, like against Oregon or last week. They'll just start running up the middle into a 9-man line, and it's like, fellas, it's a 9 or 10-man line. Just throw a quick play action pass or something like that. I mean, these guys got to be wide open, and take the yardage that way. But don't run right into a 9-man line, and first down, second down, third down, and punt. Anyway, take State, lay the 15, play them multiple teasers, play them big. Teaserking's mad this week. Well, not this week, but I'm mad because I should be up far more than I am, and I'm really, really focused and zeroed in here. I'm going to have a huge pro week. This is going to be huge, but this college, I mean, I got at least 4 very strong games. I just gave you one of them. I'm not going to give you all of them. It's not fair to the customers, but I'm giving you that one because I'm pissed. A game that looks good, but I'm going to stay away from is Georgia Tech 3.5 to Duke. Normally I'd be all over Duke getting points, but when I looked at the history, Georgia Tech's blown them out the last 2 years. And I have a friend who, used to play college football and taught me about Armies and Navies and Georgia Techs and Air Force, these option teams. Either you know how to play them or you don't, and you can't practice because your practice, you don't know how to run the option against them. And certain teams know how to defend them and certain teams don't. Well, Duke seems to have a problem with Georgia Tech. And if that's the case, I can't play Duke in the points because they don't know how to stop Georgia Tech here. And I like Duke, especially as the dog, but not here. I'm staying away from it. Another game that's very interesting that I'm going to lay away from is Wisconsin laying, it's up to 26 against Illinois. Illinois' quarterback, Wes Lunt, is out. He's the Oklahoma State transfer. He's not playing, and the money's moving, but I'm confused by Wisconsin. They're so bad. I mean, they barely beat South Florida. You watch East Carolina put up points on South Florida tomorrow. But then they lose to Northwestern. Now, the kid Gordon put up 285 yards, just like I thought he would. The quarterback's terrible. He had like 8 completions against Northwestern and a bunch of turnovers. So I don't know. Gordon goes for 285 and they lose. I mean, I don't know. I don't get that. I can't trust Wisconsin here. I think they're laying too many points, 26. I get somebody locked it because of the quarterback being out, but I think that's already adjusted in the spread. The trend is Wisconsin. They're normally a good home favorite. Illinois is a terrible road dog. Trend-wise, it's Wisconsin, but I just don't like this Wisconsin team that much, and I'm going to say to just stay away from it. Be careful. You can't. I mean, I get when the money moves. You want to jump on board, but I don't like that. Let's talk about Baylor TCU. The trend here is Baylor. They're a great home favorite. The question is, what happens with TCU? And this is the problem with college. You have TCU beating Oklahoma. You have Ole Miss beating Alabama. How do these teams react to that? Do they come back and win? Do they lose? Now, when Alabama or Oklahoma, like Oklahoma plays Texas. Now, the week after, if they win, they keep winning. They don't let down. So the question is what will TCU do? What will Mississippi do after that big emotional win? And I don't know. I like Baylor in this game because they're at home, and I think they're a very strong team. They easily handled Texas last week. And it was another strange, Bryce Petty, the All-American quarterback, goes 7 for 21 for like 100 yards, 120 yards, and they ran the ball 60 times. So I don't know if there was a rainstorm or a tornado or what happened there that they couldn't throw the ball. But I was surprised Baylor ran it 60 times on Texas, and they easily won 28-7. So I like Baylor laying the 1, because I think TCU will be flat after beating Oklahoma. I'm not sure about Ole Miss, but in this situation, Baylor at home is, I think, 17-0 or 17-1 the last 3 years against the spread in a teaser. Always in a teaser when I talk when I talk like that. So I like Baylor there, laying the 1. Don't love them. Not gonna go crazy with them because I still respect TCU. And I remember when they had a top 3 team a couple years ago. Good coach, very good coach. But I'm not going to go crazy. TCU is a very good team. Obviously, they beat Oklahoma. But I like Baylor here. I think TCU is a little flat. I think Baylor at home will get the W. They only have to win by 1 or 1.5. Oregon, UCLA. Oregon laying 2.5. I have no idea. Oregon to me is, I don't know, they're a mystery. They can't seem to block. UCLA, I don't get. UCLA is, they were, I thought, better than they were. I can't trust UCLA as the home dog, and I can't trust Oregon as a road favorite. Very interesting game. I guess I would probably take UCLA as the home dog in this game, but Oregon blows them out regularly. But Oregon blows out a lot of teams, but it's hard to say. I would, I'm not playing this, but I would take, I think UCLA in 8.5 is good. I don't think they'll win. They might win, but they're both having problems right now. Let's talk about Washington, Cal. Cal is the ultimate over team. I thought about playing that as the over last week against Washington State. You had 2 great offensive teams, and nobody can play defense. And I missed that one. I thought about it. It was 73, and I thought, it's a joke, but Cal's an over team. Guess Washington's got a fairly good defense, and they're going to run the ball and that. So it probably goes over again. It's just the way Cal is. I don't think Washington can stop them. Cal won't stop Washington, but Washington isn't like a Washington State who can score a lot. But I think that's a good over game. Notre Dame, North Carolina. Notre Dame laying 16.5. Should handle North Carolina easily, but I don't know. I mean, I had them against Purdue, and they could barely win that game. North Carolina, there's something wrong with them. They just are terrible this year. They're a bet-against team. Clemson killed them. East Carolina killed them. Notre Dame should be able to, to win by more than 10. I would be surprised if they didn't. Let's go to Michigan against Penn State. Again, Michigan laying 1.5. Again, how in the world can Michigan beat anybody? Terribly coached, terrible quarterback. The defense doesn't look much. Penn State's got me baffled losing the way they did to Northwestern. But I think Penn State getting 7.5 here. I mean, this game to me, I think Penn State's the better team. I think Michigan's a weak favorite. They do play better at home, but living here, I know the crowd is so anti-Brady Hoke and anti-Mitt. They don't even stay for the whole game. My buddy, he's got season tickets to the U of M games. It's like after the half, he's so frustrated, and he's like, this is a joke that they go back and tailgate in the second half. He can't even stand watching it. The crowd boos, the crowd leaves. These are smart people here. I got to take Penn State in the points. I mean, this is a joke. I mean, Michigan cannot be favored against anybody. They can't beat anybody but Appalachian State and the Miami of Ohio and Kent and Eastern Michigan. I mean, they probably could handle SMU by 10 or 12 points. Everybody kills SMU. Michigan will not kill them. Penn State, I think, has a very good defense. I like their coach. The quarterback was good last year, but I think they're getting used to a different offense. Might be a little bit of the problem. But Penn State has been off since they lost to Northwestern. I look for them to be really fired up, and it's a big game for them. And I think you take the dog here, and I don't know how Michigan can cover 7.5. They do win, it'll be a field goal. I mean, they've surprised me. They played Rutgers pretty close, but still, Rutgers was good, and I just think Penn State is a good dog there. So I got 4 very, very strong college games. Not mentioning the ones there. I'm interested in Minnesota Northwestern. I'm interested in seeing Northwestern. I think they'd be a live dog there. Minnesota's pretty good. You have a double trend. Minnesota's a strong home favorite, and Northwestern's a very strong road dog. I think Northwestern and Penn, judging by the way they beat Wisconsin and Penn State, 2 very good physical teams, and they beat them, and they got a lot of turnovers. I would think Northwestern and 10 is a good play. I think the good here is the dog. I don't think Minnesota is a team, that's so strong that you're like, oh my God, they're going to blow them out. So I think that'll be a fairly close game. A lot of Big Ten action I'm giving out here. And I see the line moving on Oklahoma, Texas up to 16 from 14. I would think Oklahoma, first of all, they're going to be pissed about losing. Texas seems to have nothing this year. They played UCLA close somehow. That shows me how bad UCLA is. But I mean, I gotta think Oklahoma runs away with this game. Usually, the winner of this game wins by a mile, and I don't know how Texas is going to manufacture points. I think Oklahoma has that kid, that running back, that freshman. I think he has a big day. They can pass enough. Their defense isn't as strong as I thought. I mean, TCU scored a lot of points on that Oklahoma defense. But I think Oklahoma laying the 10 here is probably win easy. I just don't see, because in this game they're going to want blood and they're going to pile it on, and I just don't see what Texas can do. I mean, they got no offense. I mean, how are they going to stay in there? Anyway, those are some of my picks. I gave you one strong one, Michigan State. Highly recommend that one. Michigan State will win the Big Ten and will go to the playoffs. Nobody that can beat them in the Big Ten, including Ohio State. They're a very, very strong team. They'll play with anybody. Them and Auburn would be a great game. I think they'd beat Alabama. They'd beat Ole Miss, but they're very much like Ole Miss. Ole Miss has a really strong defense, good quarterback, good running, good receivers. So I'd say they're very similar. That'll be a good game too. But anyway, that's it for week 7. Please let me know if you have any questions. I do get emails from people who watch this asking for advice on games, and I'm more than happy to give it. But I won't give my real strong or my locks. I just have too many customers who I can't give them out and they're paying. You know how that goes. So you'll have to go to the site and purchase them. But they're well worth it. They're very strong this week, and I highly recommend them. And I don't just recommend. I'm not here to sell. I'm here to make money for people and myself. So basically, this should be huge week, and I'm not going to have a losing week the rest of the year. I promise that. All right, everybody, www.teaserking.com. This is Howard. Good luck, and we're going to make a whole lot this weekend. Take care.